I had literally 3 days to make this a brand. Printed all the stickers, had the coolers, had the product. It showed up in their office, just giving them samples, saying, yeah, we do catering. I feel like if I've given you some time and you've given me your time as well, and we've had this engagement, I should walk away with something. It doesn't have to be money, but maybe something that makes me better or makes me pitch to the next investor better. My name is Ehime Eigbe Akindele, founder of SweetKiwi, and you're watching Where Are You Now with Black Gold Ventures.
I'm so happy to have you here, okay? Because we're gonna get into this whole story of how we met and all that, but then like what our relationship has become, which I'm really thankful for. So you are the CEO of SweetKiwi, and which is a good for you, made for you to be better, is what I consider it. Yogurt, and I'm so excited to have you here. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm really excited to be here.
All right. Okay, so cooking it up in your kitchen, taking it to work, people being like, woo, what is that? This is back in, what year was this when you started?
This was back in 2011, 2010.
Oh, wow. So you've been on this journey a minute.
Long time.
Okay. So you're cooking it up. And then one of the things I love about your story is that you actually got a job at a restaurant to work in the kitchen to learn how to run the company. But not only that, you actually took other courses. Like, where are you certified? Are you like cow certified? Are you like, what's the levels of like anti-cow certified? Like, what is it?
So I have ice cream manufacturing certifications, cultured dairy certifications, for processing. I just believe if I was going to do it, I needed to understand the science behind it, because if I didn't understand the science, I couldn't control it. I couldn't tweak it. I couldn't make it better. I couldn't, satisfy the consumer in the way that they wanted to. And maybe I'm just kind of neurotic like that. I just need to know everything about something that I want to do. And that was the same thing for going to the kitchen. I think I was kind of nervous. I've never seen myself as an entrepreneur. I feel like going through college, my dream was to work for the UN. I studied business information technology and international relations. Well, the business information technology was just to please my African parents, but that's a story for another day. But I really wanted to work for the UN. I wanted to change the world, wanted to make a difference. So it was never in the cards to be an entrepreneur. So that was really scary, a scary thing to do, something that I've never envisioned. And I thought, why don't you just go into the environment and see what it's all about? And so I applied for this job downtown Dallas. And I would leave work. I would start work at 7 a.m., close at 4, drive all the way downtown, start work at 5, and work till midnight in this restaurant, just kind of learning every little thing, how the waiters operate, how does the back end operate, how does the kitchen operate. They had all these manuals, all this structure, which was really good for me to understand that everything had its own structure. Like I had a boss who would give me so much work. And I bet he felt like, she didn't know. No, I did. I wanted to know. I was really excited to take on that work because I really wanted to understand it. Even like working the bar, just the different aspects of hospitality and understanding. And I think that gave me the confidence to feel like, you know what, I can do this.
I love that because you created your own sort of school. And I think that like it's important for people to know that, okay, you start something, it's taking off or you like it and you want to do it. You don't necessarily have to go through traditional means of getting education about it. You can actually get hired in those roles, go shadow people, figure that out. So I love that part. Okay, so at what point did you look at SweetKiwi as a company?
So we started doing catering. I had this friend who worked for a concierge company, and I was still trying to figure out, like, how do I get this stuff into the market? And she said to me one day, my company's always looking for people to do ice cream socials. They literally have a budget for this every month, and they're always looking for something to do. And ice cream socials is something that we do. And I was like, what? Tell me more about that. And then she tells me she sets up a meeting with her team, and I show up. I had literally 3 days to make this a brand. Printed all the stickers, had the coolers, had the product, and showed up in their office, just giving them samples, saying, yeah, we do catering. And that's just kind of how it took off. And that was the day I would say that we started to become a brand, but the day we officially became a brand was the first job that they gave us was this job on K Street, this high-rise corporate building, and we were serving over 1,000 people.
Oh my goodness.
And we had to do it in like 3 hours.
At this point, were you still making it home?
No, we'd moved to the kitchen because to do that, to get our license.
Like a,
so we'd moved to
space.
Union Kitchen because we needed our catering license to be able to cater. And I just remember looking up and seeing a whole line that went around, like literally all the way to the top of the building. And I was like, what? When did this happen? And everyone's asking questions and they're so excited and they're getting the free cup of yogurt. And it was just such a great experience. And that was the day I felt like, wow, we just did this on K Street in DC. Like, this is just phenomenal.
Wow. So you're like, okay, this could be something. How much capital did it take you to really get into the cloud kitchen? Well, I'm calling it cloud kitchen because it's a shared kitchen. Yeah. But how much did it cost you to... So you go from making it home and then you move into the kitchen.
So we took it easy. We decided to do nights and weekends where we were paying under $1,000 a month. And you work only from about 7 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m. in the morning, something like that. And weekends as well. So that's how we were working. We were doing about $900 a month, but we were getting enough catering jobs to kind of cover that. But the kitchen was a great space because I was meeting other entrepreneurs who were doing different things, who were in retailers, and that kind of opened my mind to what other possibilities could be. And then they tried the product and they were like, have you ever thought about putting this in grocery stores? And I was like, no, but I'm thinking about it now.
So how do you go? Okay, so commercial kitchen, and for those like what you're mentioning, you work overnight on your product. Like you put your product together in the overnight. And did you have children then?
I didn't know. I didn't have my daughter yet.
Okay. That's right. Okay.
A year later.
Okay. Because I'm like, you working overnight.
I was still doing that when I had my daughter, by the way.
What?
Yeah, I was still doing that.
Working 7 p.m. to 9 a.m.
Yeah, till
putting the product together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Luckily, I had my daughter just 2 weeks before COVID, and we were locked down for a little while. So I had that little time with her, and then things opened back up. Unfortunately for us in this food space, COVID kind of caused like this effect where people were selling out really quickly and the stores needed product. So we had no choice. We had to go into production. So I would be producing, and my mom was around. Luckily, she was locked down, which was the best thing. And she would just tell me like, oh yeah, Michaela was looking for you. She'll stand by the door or she's waiting for you to come back. I mean, it hurt, but it's part of the journey.
Yeah, so. Definitely part of the journey. So when did you meet Black Girl? Like, do you remember how you even heard about Black Girl Ventures?
I found it online. I think COVID was just a time where there was so much online. Like there was so much happening. Everyone was fully online. I was online doing recipes, teaching people how to make yogurt in their house using their blender. And I was just looking for community because I felt really isolated. We weren't going out. I was really terrified because I have this baby. I don't want to go out and then get COVID and give her COVID. I was really isolated. And I started just looking online, just trying to find some type of community. And I found it on some platform, apply for like Black Girl Ventures or something. And I was like, okay, I'll try this out. It looks like community.
Right. Were you pitching before that?
I've never pitched before that. Never.
Wow.
I literally put my deck together one day before we met online.
Oh my goodness. And the deck that was then is nothing like the deck it is now.
No. So I was really nervous because I was like, oh my God, I've never done this before. I don't even know what I'm doing. I've never done a pitch deck before. Even though we were in Whole Foods, we didn't have to do a pitch deck. All of the pitching was in person. And it was more about product trial. It wasn't like a slide or anything like that. So this was my first like putting together a slide and then having to pitch. And I remember jumping on the call and seeing you. I was like, oh my God, before she gets to me. So I think that as you were giving people feedback, I was trying to edit before you came to me. So, and I was like, okay, I'm nervous. And you were like, don't worry, it's fine, just go. And I went and you were just like, oh. But I think you gave me a lot of great feedback. And I took that. The first thing you said to me is, now, why are you not asking for 1 million? I was like, I'll ask. just give me a few minutes and I'll edit this slide.
You know, it's funny because I'm pretty hardcore about feedback just because I feel like so many people don't tell the truth. Like I've even sat on pitch calls where I'm like, now this person know that this is not right, or this person know that they should say this thing, and they don't. And then a lot of us walk away and we just don't know the real thing. And then you just keep getting passed along and nobody tells you the truth. And then next thing you know, you think it's not working or something. And you're like, why is it not working? And why people not? And just somebody may come along and be like, hey, you just need to tweet this. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I love about you. I feel like because of the interactions I've had with you, even when I pitch to investors, I literally send them an email and say, like, I know you're passing, but I actually need the feedback.
Yeah. And you got to push it because they also, you know, in there is like a lesson about wealth and things like that, and Eurocentric culture. Like I learned a lot of this, like just building Black Girl Ventures, that the idea of wealth is that people actually can't assert in any way. So they can't assert their wealth on you. They can't say, oh, you need it, here it is. Or they can't even assert their thoughts and ideas on you. They can't assert their opinion. Like it's like a cultural thing among people who are in certain positions. And so even though like I want that hardcore truth and I want you to just reveal who you are and I want you to just, show me who you really are, whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, and different, people just won't because they're like, that's not the way things happen. And again, you keep getting past. So when you kind of pierce that veil when you say to them, hey, love that, but don't give me that fluffy feedback. Tell me the truth so I can really, really grow. So no, I think, and that's courageous of you because sometimes people would be nervous to even do that because they're like, oh, what if the person feels like X or Y,
I feel like if I've given you some time and you've given me your time as well, and we've had this engagement, I should walk away with something. It doesn't have to be money, but maybe something that makes me better or makes me pitch to the next investor better. Just something. And I find that everyone's like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Do you know you're amazing? But I'm like, here comes the but. I don't need you're amazing. I already know that. I need to know why are you not funding me even though I'm amazing?
Right. So, okay, talk to me about, you have a story around the pitch day and the whole like being a part of the competition where like you were sick. Were you sick?
No, I wasn't sick. I actually did the pitch. I remember that day I took a picture. I was like, oh, I'm about to kill this pitch. I posted on Instagram. I'm so excited. Never done this before. I get on a thing. It was really nerve wracking. And you don't realize how quick the time goes. Got a lot of great feedback. And then, before you know it, the things closed off on you. And it was really great. And then we started the voting part of it. And I think the story I had was around the voting because I was like, I don't want to bother anyone. Like, I just don't want to have to ask people to like vote or like, donate some money. And I was like, oh, so I'm not going to do that because I just don't like to bother my community. And I remember just kind of not sharing it with anyone or posting it anywhere. And 2 days before the competition was about to end, I was just like, oh, let me just go see who's winning. And I went on the platform. Back then, you could see who had the most votes. And I went on there and I was at the bottom and that bothered me. And I went to sleep and I couldn't sleep. I'm just like, just see my name at the bottom. I couldn't take it. Like I was
That's that competitiveness kicking in. Like
I was like, no, but you said you didn't care. So I'm like, you don't care. Go to sleep. I'm sleeping. I wake up. I'm like, Michael, that's my husband. Like, we have to call something.
You know what's so funny about that is like, and I don't know if you developed it as a muscle now, But you and Michael are such huge navigators. I can't even imagine that you're the kind of person that ever thinks, I don't want to bother anybody. I feel like you're like, no, I need that thing, I'm going to ask. Is that something that a muscle that you developed over the course of the journey of building a company?
I did, because one of the things that that experience taught me, I started sending out like WhatsApp messages, please vote for me in this competition, posted it on Instagram, on LinkedIn, sending it to all my friends. I realized that a lot of people know that I do yogurt, but that's the extent of what they know. But kind of going to the competition, watching the video, I was surprised. My cousins were watching the video. They started like a whole campaign and they started getting their friends to go vote for me. And people were calling me like, I didn't know that, this thing was really a thing, you know? I know you do yogurt, but that's it. And it made me realize like it's not a bother. They just don't
That's
know
right.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Now they like I had my uncles, everyone. I bet you guys were getting like traction from all kinds of countries and all kinds of things because it was just going like across like the family group and all these people. But it was the first time that I stepped out of my comfort zone to ask for help. Michael's calling up all his friends, posting everywhere. And that's how we won the competition, literally in 2 days, just kind of like rallying up the community. But what it showed me is like closed mouths don't get fed. You don't ask, you don't get.
That's right.
And I just need to start showing up. And I developed it as a habit. When I meet with my friend, I talk about what I'm doing, what I need support with. You don't have to be able to support me, but it stays in your mind. And I realize I do that for other people. If you talk to me about something, it stays in my mind. And when I find some opportunity that kind of aligns with that, I'll connect you. So I realize other people may be the same way, but I'm depriving myself of that by not sharing what I'm doing.
100%. And I love that you said it about staying top of mind, because I tell people like one of the most powerful things about getting engaged with Black Girl Ventures is that somebody is keeping you top of mind. And you want that because as soon as some opportunity comes up, it's like, bet I know exactly. Speaking of that, right? We're having so Visa says we will do a content shoot with you and some of your founders. So, I'm thinking of like what founders I know that would be great. They need an all product founder. So I'm like, cool. So I call up you and 3 or 4 other people. And I'm like, hey, y'all, we're doing, Visa wants to do this product shoot with us. So we're on the product shoot. And you're like about to pitch to Walmart.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll let you tell it.
I remember standing there like, should I talk to her? Should I tell her? Should I not tell her? Should I ask her? But once again, I stand on my closed mouth, so don't get fed. So I'm like, what's the worst she's going to say? So I remember coming up to you and saying like, hey, I got this thing from Walmart. I'm about to pitch to Walmart. I was wondering if you could help me with my pitch. And the first thing you said was, I don't think I'm the right person. I was like, oh, yeah, well, there we go. But then you're like, I know someone at Walmart that may be a better fit. I was like, wait, you didn't let her land.
Right. But, I love that you said that too, because people so often will take any sign of no as a rejection. Mm-hmm. Right? Like any sign, like and it's fair because we have faced so much rejection, right? Like I hadn't even finished my full sentence. You're like, oh God, see, you didn't go down this route, but some people will go like, oh, I see, I should never said anything. Right? And it's funny because at that time we had just started having conversations with Walmart. We've been in conversations with Walmart a long time, and they had become, the conversations were really good. Like, hey, I want to help. I want to help founders grow. I want to help founders not only if they can't get into Walmart. I want to help them be able to understand what it means to be in retail. And that's something that we started to dabble in. And so I'm like, yeah, I know somebody. And I'm not knowing at the time how the relationship was about to go, but I'm like, I know somebody that could be helpful. So we get on the call with a guy who was then, his name is Andre. So we get on the call with him and I'm thinking like, yeah, this could just be helpful. So you go through the pitch.
So I was nervous. I don't know if you could tell. I was like, oh my God. Like for me, it was like sitting in front of like the biggest retailer in the world. And I was like stumbling over my words. And I really love that you were on the call because it kind of calmed me down because you said, we're just in our living rooms, just kicking it. Just don't. it was just a moment of the fact that I was on the call with someone with Walmart from Walmart. It was just overwhelming. And he was really cool too. He was like, just pitch, like don't worry about it. And I'm going through the pitch and we get to the end of the pitch and he's like, do you know your competition? Because he corrected a few things. And I'm like, yeah. And I start to mention all these brands. And he's like, wait, you frozen? I'm like, yeah. He's like, but you said yogurt, you're not refrigerated? I'm like, no, I'm frozen. And he turned out to be the head of the whole department.
So wild. And, was able to really be helpful, in those early stages, getting, whatever you needed. And so I was just so happy, that we could do that. And then we had a relationship with Kroger. So we were able to like get y'all connected to Kroger. And then I'm like, okay, they've gotten to the competition. They've gotten to Kroger. They've gotten to Walmart. We see how they can actually work with partners. And that's big. Like I'm big on like, how do you treat relationships? That's how I built Black Girl Ventures. And I believe that's how you build strong companies as well. And so I'm like, y'all take an investment? Count me in. I am investing. And I feel invested on multiple levels. I think there's a money part, which is, of course, we want that. But I'm like, I really want to see y'all win. I mean, I want to see everybody win. But I can't keep you playing favorites, right? But ultimately, the husband and wife duo thing, how has that been for you? A lot of people out there maybe starting, businesses with their partners, things like that. How do you balance it all? And 2 children.
Before we go into that, I was going to talk about something that you had said earlier, just about that Walmart call. Him kind of helping me through that pitch and helping me reorganize my pitch, that's what got us into a lot of more doors, because he kind of helped us structure how a pitch should be to a retailer. He was the first person who ever talked to me about points of distribution. I didn't even know what that was. He's like, you have to add your points of distribution. You have to do this. You have to do that. And because of that, like talking to another retailer, when they see all that information, they feel like you know what you're doing. Like I feel like that's why we got into Kroger, in addition to the introduction. The buyer still has to vet us. So going through that pitch with the buyer and him seeing, oh, they know all the right stuff. But that's because we had that initial call with Andre, where he kind of gave us like a map for what the buyer is looking for. Yeah. So getting into the other stores, Giant Food, all these other brands, is because when you're pitching to them, they can see that you have the right information, you're a serious brand, you understand what they're looking for. So that was the biggest impact of it, so it had like a ripple effect. Getting into Walmart was great, but then it helped me stand on my own and go after all these other accounts and close these other accounts because we kind of now knew what we were doing. Now to answer the question about working with Michael, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it teaches you a lot of stuff. It teaches you patience. Something I'm working on this year is learning to separate the two, separate the work from home life. Because sometimes I'll be mad at him about work stuff, and then I'm mad at home, and I have to remember like, but he didn't piss me off in the house, like not in the relationship. Right. But I'm not talking to him right now, and I have to remember like, no, you don't talk to him when you go to work. And at work, you can't do that to an
Reserve
employee.
The silence for work. That's actually super funny. Because I don't even know how you do that. I don't know how you like be like separate. It's interesting because I have family that works for me too, and it becomes a lot of our conversation. So also trying to figure that out, like how do we like what else can we talk about? Yeah.
And that's something that we're working through. And I think this year I kind of want to enforce that. Like you want to have a conversation about work. Let's put time in the calendar. Don't come to me when I'm about to get in bed and start talking. I think it's just become a norm now where it's like, oh, hey, by the way, that thing. And I'm like, I'm off the clock. I'm at home and it's not. So I think we're still working through a lot of things with the business, but I think that we make a great team. We both have our strengths and we're trying to figure this thing out together. I love that it's both of us working on it because we're doing it for our family. And we work well together, but there's always going to be a challenge where sometimes I think we should go in one direction and he thinks in another direction. I have to remind him that I'm your boss.
Oh yeah. The one of the rules that we have is if you're talking about work, you talk on WhatsApp. If you're talking about personal off work, you talk on the regular like iMessage.
Well,
So
that's a good
we
one.
separate those communications. So it's like don't text me about work stuff on
That's a
iMessage.
great one. I need to take that. I need to do that too.
Yeah, it's a good. We use WhatsApp for all of our work communication, so it's like we you talk over there. So from a revenue standpoint, so you go from in your house, go into the kitchen, start bringing in, a few $1,000s a month in catering, things like that. But now, like what was your biggest, what has been the like big growth point that's happening between now and then?
I would say 2022. We did about 500. We had a 500% growth in revenue, and last year we had about 300 because I would say just about. So 2022 for sure, we had our biggest growth, and we're still seeing that growth, but it's more steady.
I love just watching brands go from like a couple $1,000s to like breaking $1 million. Like, did you
We did do that this year.
did you see yourself there?
And no, it just looked so far away when we started. Like it wasn't even something that was when we were doing catering, making $1,000 here, $5,000 here, 1 million definitely seemed like an impossible number. But I mean, we did that last
You
year,
did
so
that. Okay. Congratulations to you.
thank you.
Okay, so what we got here? What we got here in the products? Tell me about
These
it.
are our amazing whipped frozen Greek yogurts. They're low calorie. They have 5 times more protein than the average ice cream brand, 8 times more fiber, 5 times less sugar, and they contain probiotics. So they're just a better for you frozen desserts that satisfies your sweet craving without you having to feel like, you're cheating or giving up on your diet or doing something bad.
And so now we got Whole Foods,
Walmart,
Walmart,
Kroger,
Kroger,
Giant Food.
Giant. And so what's on the horizon?
We're launching into Gelson's next month. They're a premium retailer in California. We're working to launch into Sprouts Market, targeting more retailers. But today, we just announced this actually. Today, I was just about to tell you about it, but the press release just came out. We got a license. We were approved for a license with Snoop and Massa P.
We've been talking about
Yes, for their
that.
thank you for
Congratulations.
their cereal line, the Snoop cereal. So we're going to be making 3 popsicle bar flavors using their cereal. So that was just announced today.
We literally had this conversation, what, a month ago or
Yeah,
two? A month or two
when you're
ago?
in LA.
Yes.
And
Oh
it just
my
and it
goodness.
happened. We signed the agreement. We're ready to roll. Thank you.
Congratulations. And so navigating relationships to get to them?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I tell people like social capital. That's where it's at. You gotta network. You gotta meet people. You gotta, like you said, closed mouths don't get fed. And in this case, literally.
Absolutely.
So
Like I mean, we talked about it like that day on the beach, and look
yeah.
at it now. I can't believe like actually today, while we're having this conversation, the press release came out. So they actually gave us the
Wow.
license to go ahead and create the products.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited to see where it's gonna go because I wanna eat a popsicle that is. Okay, so we've talked about this amazing journey and how far it's come and all those things. But I'm asking everybody, my last question is, where are you now? And that can be described in multiple ways. It could be personally, it could be professionally, it could be family wise, it could be revenue, any of those things. But what comes to mind for you when I say where are you now?
That's a hard question. I'm in this room.
All right, look, that's literally all we know sometimes as business owners. Like, I just know I'm here. I don't
I'm in
know.
this room. I think that we're in a great position. I think we've been able to establish ourselves as a brand. It's not been easy. It's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learnings. But I think we have a pathway to become that company. Like when people say that girl, we have a pathway to becoming that company. And it's not easy. Last year was a really hard year. But I definitely am more passionate about the vision. It's never easy, but I see myself. I'm on the journey. That's where I am.
What made last year hard?
It was just a tough year. Financially, we weren't able to close funding like we expected to. I think with the economy, a lot of investors kind of weren't funding companies. And with our kind of business, we need funding to be able to
Yeah.
grow, to be able to support our accounts, to be able to bring on more team members. Michael and I take on a lot because we can't afford a lot of team members to support a lot of the amazing. I mean, people are always shocked when they ask like how many people on your team, and it's just like 4 people or even less sometimes, and you're like, and you guys are doing all this. We don't have a choice. We have to keep grinding until someone believes in us enough to fund us. So that's part of what made last year so hard. But I feel like in the difficulty, we dug so deep that we built such an amazing pipeline for this year. So it's that whole diamond story where it was really the toughest year of my life, but because everything was on the line, my team dug so deep. We have like an incredible year lined up.
I love that. Well, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to be a part of the journey. Thank you. Thank you for coming out to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for being you, for just pouring into people. There's something that I love to say about you, that I see you as that light. You know, we're talking about just now the coal and the diamond. And I like to say that you're that light, that glimpse of light that makes a diamond shine. And that's what you've been for us. You know, every time we've needed that support, you know, that light, you just shine through and you allow everybody else see like, hey, no coals here, just diamonds.
I love that. I'm gonna put that on the shirt. No coals here, just diamonds. Come on, brand. What we doing? I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm gonna try to not cry on this beat face, but it's so true. I mean, I think that I don't see coals, I see diamonds. You know what I mean? And that's the way, like, literally, I'm like, oh no, this could really, this is a thing. Like, this deserves the light. And so I'm just so excited to watch you shine and grow.
Thank you. I really appreciated that. Even the friendship. I love that you take time to just check in and be like, hey, I don't know. You sent me a voice note one day and I was literally at a very low point. And the voice note was like, I don't know where you are, I don't know what you're doing, but I just wanted you to know that you're doing well. That just made me cry because I was like, did she know? Like, did someone tell her? Like I've just been in a funk. I've just been feeling like I've been beat down every day. But that I needed to hear that day.
Maybe I did now because I'm psychic. But it's important to me, you know. But it goes back to what we're saying about top of mind, right? And being of good character and being a person in a relationship with others. People fund people. People help people. People support people. People give people opportunities. And I say that all the time. Like, you're good people. You know, you and Michael, and you have the most coolest baby. Okay. Love Michaela too. The baby is like the chillest of babies I've ever seen in my life. But no, it's been, you know, we at this point it's family. You know, that's what Michael always says, and I'm like, that's right. I agree with that. Like, I'm all in. So yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you. Thank you.